morning, everyone. It is Thursday, August 5th. Hope you're all having a wonderful week so far. So let's get after it here today. Right, so Thursday, gonna get some, jobless claims, right? Initial state ones, though, not really something we're super fussed about. So let's see how this comes together. I don't anticipate this being a sort of big news event here this morning, right? So nothing really in the way that's going to slow markets down or really chop us about, right? So what's the SPY doing here this AM? Right, still sort of inside this chop box that we've been talking about, right? This 442 to say 436 zone. Yesterday, really nice inside bar on thin volume, right? Although this candle is red and pointing down, right? It certainly makes you want to think that, at least short term, right? I think this is like a bit of a trap, right? This is a very bearish candle, right? It's the second most bearish candle type, and it's an inside bar, right? So consolidation, gonna push it down, right? But it's kind of pushing us into a zone where we've already proven that there's dip buyers, right? So I feel like this thing can still explode up and over this 442 area. And I think going forward, that is my bias, right? Until we can break that 436. So SPY certainly looks interesting. Could be in play if we can get some action here this morning. So let's see how this thing comes together, right? Nice kind of similar story here on QQQ, right? Where that upside move continues to be the path of least resistance. So if we can get this breakout up and over this 360, right, we're going to move towards that, 370, 371, etc. Not quite an inside bar yesterday, anything along those lines, but stronger volume. And what I like about this volume, right, is that it's greater than say this August 2nd, right, this red day here. So this volume yesterday on a relatively thin volume day, still greater than that sell-off on what would have been Tuesday now, right? So that continues to add a little bit of juice to me for this bullish thesis, right? So we can get that rip up and over this 369. We could get that 3 green soldiers candle pattern, which would be really fun, right? Above that all-time highs for that further continuation. So this 369 area, right, we're 70 cents away from it pre-market. Definitely worth keeping an eye on here near the opening bell, right? Apple, nice inside bar after its DTR bullish engulfing candle, right? So now we're looking for that breakout up and over that 148 area towards that 150 plus, right? If QQQ is going to go, then Apple's probably going to go as well. You're going to have that residual strength. Again, not really interested in place to the downside here at the moment. I think it's just a little bit unnecessary. Like you're fighting the trend when you don't need to. And so I think this has a lot of potential to kind of give us that follow through to the upside. So we'll see how that comes together, right? Tesla's a bit of an interesting one. There's been a lot of rumors, I guess, overnight that Biden's going to introduce some sort of U.S., mandate that all new vehicle purchases need to be like electric by 2050 or 50% of electric vehicle purchases. And so that is a potential very positive news catalyst for something like this Tesla. But what I don't like is we are getting so many of these rejections. So we've been talking all week, right, about how these top wicks on this Tesla, right, are making me nervous, right, of this breakout, for that upside continuation, right? Just a lot of fake outs. Yesterday, another one, but it's a little bit deceiving, right? This kind of breakdown yesterday, a little bit deceiving, kind of under this 727 area, because there's a move up and over, right, this 723, but can't get over that sort of previous high on August 2nd. So for me, right, still kind of looks like a period of consolidation here, right, even though it is that challenging wick. So if we get a bit more of that noise on that electric vehicle incentive program, right, and then we can get that breakout over that 727, okay, well then Tesla starts to get a little bit interesting. You'd want this to go towards that like 740, 750 zone, right? but you're playing a lot of, say, extra speculation on this move, right? So we're not getting that follow through, right? We're seeing all these wicks, right, that are pushing price down, that are telling us, okay, sellers are defending this area. So we even got another piece of that information yesterday, right? So although this continues to consolidate, and although we might have a kind of like positive news rumor, right, on the docket, right, ready to come out to support this move, we need to respect, right, what Tesla has shown us, say, since mid-June. So I don't want to fight this, or I don't want to chase this on monster size. If Tesla breaks up over that 727 on this breakout, I'm not sure if I'm gonna look to play this at full size, or if I'm gonna look to play this with strikes a week out, right? Sort of next week, right? And then look to protect early, right? Or this week look to protect early, right? We're gonna have to see what the volume is like on this. But if you're gonna trade this Tesla, you need to have a game plan, right, on how you're gonna manage that head fake, push down risk, because we're getting so much evidence of that. So you have to be really prepared and ready to defend your position. You need to have that plan on how to defend your position, right, before you decide to take this trade. Certainly looks really tempting over the 727, and I love the news catalyst. I like this consolidation, but all this sort of selling pressure here under the 700, right, and now sort of above, gives me a little bit of pause, to the point where I need to have a plan before I get into this trade, right, on how I'm going to manage my risk after I get in. So that might be sizing down, that might be going strikes next week, right, that might be going to protect my entry after 5%. So we'll kind of see which one that ends up being, but those are kind of how I'm looking at it here today, right? Microsoft still kind of stuck in this range, right? We keep talking about this ascending wedge breakout continuation, and it continues to consolidate here. So still waiting for that break up and over that 290, and until it does that, I'm happy to just sit and wait on this thing. Right, so let's talk about a few other names here. Right, ARK was one of those that we were looking at yesterday, sort of into the close. We were talking about how it probably doesn't have those legs yesterday, right, to get up and over that 123.50 area. I love yesterday's daily candle print, right? Like, this is a super strong bullish engulfing candle after a red hammer, right? So that for me is like absolutely fantastic. What gives me a little bit of pause, right, when we talk about a directional day, or right, or when you get like a trend day, you want the volume and the candlestick to tell you the same thing, right? You want strong volume to be with a strong candle. So what's a strong candle, right? Full body bullish, right? This first candle here, this is a strong candle, right? So you'd want strong volume. Well, what's strong volume? Strong volume is volume above average. So we're getting a super strong volume, super strong candle, but not very strong volume. So although the bias, right, on this ARK is still to the upside, you don't want to be like too aggressive, because it's not everything is telling you the same story, right? It's not full steam ahead here yet. So definitely looks like a really strong setup. Definitely something that I'm incredibly interested in here. And it's going to be important to see what this volume is like on this breakout. But I think this thing has a lot of upside potential if we can get up and over this 123.50, and it has that follow through towards that 125 plus, right? If you can't play that Tesla, or like an Amazon or something like that, right, this ARK is that good proxy to play instead, because it's going to be, you're going to be able to buy calls, right, for like $10 a contract, something like that, right? These contracts are going to be a dollar, right? They're going to be like same price as Apple, right? Even cheaper. So there's going to be a lot of potential to play this, and it might even give you a little bit of flexibility, right, on how you can manage your position. So if you can go, like, you don't have to do trailing stop, right? You can go, close a third here, a third there, a third there, and manage your position that way on that break up and over that 125 area. So I still like bullish plays here. I don't mind this gap down here this morning. Doesn't really mean anything to me. So if we can get this breakout up and over that 123.50, I think this looks really strong. All right, Snap One, been kind of waiting for this. So last week, right, weekly bar, like inside bar, right, after this wedge breakout. Now we're starting to get a little bit of a bull flag here. We're starting to look like a bit of a bull flag to me here on the Snap. So if we can get up and over this psych level of $80, I think we can get that continuation, and Snap could be a potentially nice swing for us, right, if that comes together. So still maybe a couple dollars away, but I like the way that Snap has sort of behaved and reacted so far this week, and it seems to be holding that 71.70 area really well. So as long as it's holding above there and we keep kind of getting these breakouts, looks pretty strong, right? Love that it's DTR bullish engulfing candle. I mean, that's fantastic. And you can certainly play breakouts up and over the 77 towards that 79 area. 77.50, call it, right? But I'm more interested in just playing this as a longer term move, right? For that, kind of that bigger rip, right? For that break over that 80.05 and to give me that move towards that $85 range. Right, Netflix, this bear flag looks to be dying, right? Setup hasn't triggered yet. Certainly got enough warning signs that you might be getting a little bit of a reversal here. But we're going to still keep an eye on this just in case things do go soft this morning, right? We need a few bearish setups, right? Or a few kind of bearish plays if things start reversing so we don't have to sit on hands, right? If the market goes red. Okay, so Twitter, right? Still kind of just consolidating for now. Nothing really too interesting there. AMD, one to watch on the daily, right? This thing has been a absolute monster and continues to just rip up and up and up, right? Now, right, this arrow undisputed, right, pointing down, right? We've had some, arrows pointing down here previously, but this is undisputable, right? Where the wick is kind of the same size as the body, if not greater. So what that tells me, right, is that AMD now is a little bit exhausted. It needs to consolidate, it needs to chill out, it needs to catch its breath. Best case here, right, you get an inside bar, you get like a little bull flag, something like that, right, for that continuation rip over that 122.60. If this thing breaks out over that 122.60, okay, I will play it today, right, but it's going to be on like quarter size or 10% size. So I'm not going to be super interested in chasing this, on any mega size, but I'm going to continue to respect the volume that continues to come into this name, right? AMD was the most traded stock all of last week. It's well on pace to be that again this week, right? So I'm just going to respect that volume and follow it. If for whatever reason, right, I prefer for it to consolidate, right? So let's hope that can come together. mRNA, right? They had their reported their earnings here this morning. Maybe not as good as people expected. A little bit of a sell-off. Huge move off of that 433, right? Kind of that same story to this AMD, right? Where you maybe want to just let this thing catch its breath a little bit now. Let it consolidate before it kind of gives you that rip up and over. So let's go over one more, right? Or a couple more here. So the way it looks to me is that some of these tech names, right? Some of these ARC names look like they could be very strong today. And Facebook is another example of that. So what I love here, right? Hammer bounce off of trend line, right? Long-term uptrend, right? So red hammer bounce off of trend line, and then nice DTR bullish engulfing candle, right? So this looks like really strong confirmation off of this trend line bounce. So when you get that rip up and over that 361 area, right, you're going to move towards that 365 kind of pseudo gap fill really, really easily, right? There's kind of minimal support here in this area, and minimal resistance, right? So you're kind of expecting this thing to potentially fill very quick. So this Facebook up and over that 361, definitely my favorite setup of the morning, right? I think this thing looks really strong. I love the DTR bullish engulfing after this red hammer, right? We're not interested in the red hammer as a like out and out reversal signal for itself, but combine that with a DTR bullish engulfing candle, and you're getting start to build a lot of conviction that Facebook might have found a bottom and is ready to reverse, right? And it's got really strong earnings behind it, right? So it has news catalyst, right? It has a technical analysis catalyst. So let's see if Facebook can give us that follow through, but certainly looks like it could be in play, right? And then sort of last but not least, right, is this NVIDIA. NVIDIA looks to me like it could be really strong. We had that fake out at that 200 area kind of this week. And yeah, that gives me a little bit of concern, but above that 205.50 area to that 208.50, right, and then new all-time highs, there's not much there. So I'm just expecting it to move pretty quick, right? If we can break up and over, right, it's a relatively clean level even after post-split. So I think this NVIDIA looks like it could be good to go, right? We talked about how we wanted to round up to that 200, right, on that after that split. Right, so these levels can be a little bit challenging, right, or a little bit choppy, right after that 4-to-1 split. So we were just looking for that break over that pre-800, right? And now what we're getting, what's beautiful about this, right, post-split is this 205.50 area is syncing up with a nice pre-split level. So we don't have to necessarily worry about that playing this necessarily as much as a zone, right? It's going to be it's just a clean level for us to play through. So I'm hopefully we can get that follow through as well, right? But this thing is going to work in sympathy with QQQ, right? It's going to work in sympathy with Facebook, right? And it's going to work in sympathy with ARK. So if these four are all strong, right, that could be the way you set up yourself up to have a monster day. So there's definitely a few of these that I'm interested in playing at big size, right? They look really interesting. Right, this Tesla, if we get that rip up and over, right, this thing looks interesting, maybe not on full size, but we're seeing a lot of strength in these tech names, right, and Cathie Wood might be smiling again here soon. So definitely looks to be an exciting day. I am pretty pumped to see what kind of comes together here for us, and so hopefully we can absolutely crush it. So best of luck out there, everyone. Happy hunting. Thanks for joining the pre-market recap, right? Seeing the top trade ideas. If you want to get a written version of this, right, please check out my website, www.dtrtrading.com, right? And download the blueprint from there. It's free to download, no sign up required. So best of luck. Thanks for joining. And I hope you guys crush it today. If you want to trade these setups with me, right, you can join me and join my live stream day in, day out at dtrtrading.com. All right, peace.